I know this is going to be really hard for people to hear and understand, but Ilia Topuria is still one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen today. It it takes one loss for UFC fans to just forget everything you've done in your entire career, right? It just takes one loss. Let's break down Ilia Topuria's career, okay? When he first came into the UFC, he was a BJJ black belt. He was a BJJ practitioner. He was a submission artist, right? A few fights later, he's knocking people out, right? He fights Josh Emmett, who at the time was known as the gatekeeper of the featherweight division. He pieced him up 50-45 Josh Emmett. Nobody did that to Josh Emmett up until that point. You know, I think Josh Emmett was just came off of a win of beating Bryce Mitchell, knocking him out cold, and he 50-45s him. Okay, cool. He goes on to fight Volk after that. Knocks out Alexander Volkanovski. Alex Volkanovski was the champion. He was, I think, the pound-for-pound number one fighter in the world, maybe number two. He was one of the greatest fighters of all time and still is. He was at his peak. Okay? I guess you can make the argument that he got knocked out by Islam Makhachev beforehand. But in my opinion, that doesn't even matter. That never mattered. People always use that as an excuse in the Volk fight. That never mattered. No matter if it was before the Islam fight, and no matter if it was after the Islam fight. I still think that Ilia Topuria would have knocked out Volk in the same way no matter what. That's point blank, period. No matter what. I'm tired of hearing people use that as an excuse. Then he goes out to fight Max Holloway, right? Now, we know Max Holloway has never been knocked out. We were going into that fight like, okay, Max can stand up with him because Max's chin is insane. He's not going to knock him out like he did to Volk. I had the same idea, right? I had the same thing. I was like, yeah, because I'm a Max fan. So I'm like, no, Max is going to stand there. He's going to use his chin. He's going to use his boxing. He's going to keep the distance. He's going to outpoint him like how Max does with volume. Round 4, 3 or 4, I can't remember. He knocks Max out. He knocks Max Holloway out. He's the hardest person to ever knock out ever in human history. And he knocks him out. Right? Then he goes to fight Charles Oliveira. At the time, Charles is coming off of a win, I think. I think he's coming off of a win. Maybe not. But he's gonna fight Charles Oliveira. And again, excuses. People are going into this fight saying that Charles Oliveira is too big for him. He's lightweight. Listen, Ilia Topuria's skill. My favorite YouTuber is Lucas Tracy MMA. He's the one that inspired me to do YouTube. He always talks about lighter man skill, and it's very true. When someone moves up a weight class, the skill transfers and the speed transfers, right? These featherweights, these lightweights cannot compete with these featherweights. Okay? The only real exception we saw was Islam versus Volk 1. I don't count Islam versus Volk 2 because he was coming off the couch. And we just saw Alex Pereira get knocked out at heavyweight, right? But 98% of the time, it's true. It's true. Ilia Topuria moves up to lightweight. He fights Charles Oliveira. You know, everyone's talking about the grappling. Everyone's talking about the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling. And I love Charles Oliveira. To me, Charles Oliveira is an amazing wrestler, an amazing grappler. We know what he can do on the ground. We know how dangerous he is on the ground. The fight starts, right? First thing I notice is Ilia Topuria eats a hard elbow to the face. Then Charles gets into the ground, and this man reverses the takedown and ends up in crucifix on Charles Oliveira. Cool. He gets out of the leg lock position. People thought the fight was going to end right there. Not me. Then he flatlines him in the first 2 minutes. Right? So, that's Ilia Topuria's career. He just fought Justin Gaethje and lost at the White House. Incredible fight. He got TKO'd by the doctor stoppage, whatever. Fine. I'm not saying that's a fluke from Justin Gaethje, but we cannot discredit and take away all of Ilia Topuria's success prior to that. I know he's very cocky. I know he's very confident. I feel like people misunderstand that as like him being super, super arrogant. I think it's the way he promotes himself and tries to bring more entertainment to the fight. because we tuned in. We love to watch him fight because he talks a big talk, and as of recent, he's been backing it up until he just fought Justin Gaethje. You know, he learned a valuable lesson. Obviously, you can't talk too much, and you can't go in there not expecting to get anything back from Justin Gaethje, because Justin Gaethje is known for being violent. He's known for being hitting like a truck. But Ilia Topuria is still great. He's still an incredible fighter. He's still one of the most skilled fighters we've ever seen. And I just hate how people are discrediting him for losing to Justin Gaethje. And it pains me that he had to take the loss from Justin Gaethje, because Justin Gaethje, that was Justin Gaethje's best performance ever. Ever. There will never be another better Justin Gaethje performance ever. Okay? He was just on point. He was on point with everything. Right? The striking was good. He survived on the ground. His instincts were there. Right? It was just not a good night for Ilia Topuria. Max flatlined Justin Gaethje. You know, sometimes MMA doesn't math right. Right? The MMA math isn't mathing. Justin Gaethje got flatlined with Max Holloway. Ilia Topuria knocked out Max Holloway. Volk beat Max 3 times. Ilia Topuria knocked out Volk. So the fact that Justin Gaethje beat Ilia Topuria, it is unfathomable. It's crazy, but it happened. Right? That's fine. All I'm saying is people should not be discrediting Ilia Topuria now, taking away his other incredible wins just because he lost to Justin Gaethje. You know? Styles make matchups, right? Styles make matchups. It was a stylistic matchup that was harder for Ilia Topuria because Justin Gaethje is very formidable. He has a lot of experience. He's a veteran. And Ilia Topuria just didn't respect him in the beginning. He was coming in with his chin up a little bit. He was firing shots early. He wasn't really respecting what's coming back to him. And he learned his lesson the hard way. Now, my rant is over. I'm done with that. But I want to figure out what's next for Ilia Topuria. Now, we already know that Paddy Pimblett is in the mix. He was immediately talking trash to Ilia Topuria after he lost, and I feel like if he beats BSD, I think he should either fight Ilia Topuria next year, or he should fight someone else in the rankings, right? Or Ilia Topuria should fight Arman for a #1 contender fight. That seems viable to me. I mean, Arman's been on the sidelines for God knows how long, and him and Ilia already have beef, and it kind of makes sense because Ilia is now the #1 ranked lightweight, and Arman should be 1 or 2. I don't know how that works, but they should fight each other. Get that fight out of the way. #1 contenders fight. It sucks because then they would have to eliminate each other, and I think Ilia would knock him out personally. But maybe give Ilia Paddy and let Arman get a title shot that he actually deserves against Justin Gaethje. But yeah. I'm just tired of hearing this Ilia Topuria disrespect after one loss. Okay, I understand it was to Justin Gaethje. I understand he talked a big talk, but you can't discredit the man. You know, he can't. He was a warrior. He stayed in there. I know he ended up quitting on the stool, but it is what it is. It's the fight game. He's still Ilia Topuria. He's still a great fighter. He's still one of the most skilled fighters we've ever seen in the sport. And I'm excited to see who he fights next. I hope he fights Paddy because that'll be a great build-up. The fight will be great. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.